The new map in Warzone Pacific is called Caldera, and personally I think it's fantastic, but Warzone has a lot of problems right now, and in this video I'm going to talk about the biggest problems in Warzone Pacific from the perspective of an average player. You've probably been hearing a lot of things out there from pro players and streamers and people that are really good at the game, and we're going to talk about a few of those things. I do agree that some of those things are a problem in Warzone right now, but the single biggest problem from my perspective is that they haven't done what they needed to do to attract new players to the game. This means that there's no new players for fresher, less sweaty lobbies. Personally, the new map is great, but what I really wanted to see was some fresh lobbies, some fresh blood, some new players in the lobbies to kind of freshen things up and give all the average players out there, which is the vast majority of players, to give all of us new targets, people that aren't necessarily 100 times better than we are, people that haven't been playing the game since the day it came out, people that don't have a chance to play the game every day all day long, new players. That's what I really wanted to see with the new map, and so far I haven't seen any of that. And the things they're doing with the game right now, the way the game is not set up to attract new players. Most players are on console, right? And right now the console experience really sucks. There's a lot of game crashes, so anybody that's on console, your game has probably been crashing on a regular basis. If not, you're one of the lucky ones, okay? There's a lot of graphics issues, there's glitches, you've got gun glitches where guns come out looking like polygons and you can't even see what you're doing. There's environmental glitches where palm trees don't have any textures, different parts of the map, you can't see what's going on. There's a lot of issues, and a lot of them are on console. So the bottom line is, unless you're one of the top 1% players in the world, lobby strength it's still a problem. It's a big deal, and lobbies are still full of sweats. It's no different from how it was in Verdansk toward the end, the last several months of Verdansk. The 99% like us need new blood in the game so that every fight actually feels like a fair fight. And since we're on the topic of console players, one of the biggest deals from their perspective is that there is no FOV slider still for consoles in Warzone. When Warzone first rolled out, this wasn't really that big of a deal because most console players, I was on console at the time too, and so this applies to me, we really didn't know what we were missing. But since the game first came out, we've been watching Twitch streamers and YouTubers all on PC zooming around the map at 120 FOV, and so now everybody's fully aware of it. Console players know the benefits that having a higher FOV provides. Cold War, when Cold War came out, Cold War got FOV slider, but Warzone didn't. It was disappointing, but we were told it was coming along with the next gen version of the game, and when the PS5 launched, and that never happened. So that was really disappointing. A lot of people were disappointed with that, but they kept playing the game. Some of them probably left, but a lot of people kept playing the game. And then Vanguard came out. And when Vanguard came out, we were told in the launch that Warzone was going to be on the same tech and engine as Vanguard. It was basically going to be a Warzone version of the Vanguard game, right? Where it would movement would be the same and everything would work the same as in Vanguard. But that turned out not to be true, and there was still no FOV slider on consoles, and lots of players are very upset. So the lack of FOV slider combined with the crashes and the graphic glitches are keeping a lot of console players out of the game. Keeping them out of Caldera right now. And since a lot of the new players are going to be on console, PS4, maybe PS5, Xbox, we're missing a lot of the new players that we were hoping, that I was hoping we'd get. The next problem is that Vanguard guns really suck, and it takes too long to level them up. I wouldn't consider this too big of a deal, except for the only BR mode that you can play with your Modern Warfare or Cold War guns is just quads right now. So if you don't want to play with randoms and you don't have a quad team, 3 other people to play with, it's just not really that fun. If you want to play solos, duos, or trios, you gotta play the Vanguard BR. And Raven is going to eventually make the Vanguard guns completely overpowered because they want to sell copies of Vanguard, which is the fastest and easiest way to level up all those guns. And they want to sell gun blueprints for the Vanguard guns, so they want to make it so that the Vanguard guns are the best in the game. They did it for Cold War, and they'll do it again for Vanguard. So for anyone who doesn't have all day to play a video game, they're going to be at a major disadvantage, which really sucks. So That's a big problem for a lot of players. The Vanguard guns take way too long to level up. Once you've got them maxed out, yeah, they're pretty good. A lot of them are laser beams. They do okay damage, things like that. But when you don't have them leveled up, or you're just using ground loot because you don't have any of the guns leveled up, they suck. And speaking of having guns that are fully leveled up, we're talking about loadouts in this point, right? And we can't buy a loadout now in the game until the end of the first zone. So the first zone is over, and you can finally buy a loadout because your free loadout drops that time, and that's when they let you buy a loadout. This one is a big deal for a lot of players because it's two different reasons. The first reason, I believe the most important reason, is because most of us play Warzone over other BRs because it's a Call of Duty experience in a BR, and it's got loadouts, right? That's different from other BRs. It's not traditional BR. And we like to be able to customize our guns. Well, why shouldn't we want to use them in the game for as much of the game as we can? Once we've earned the right to buy one, or made it to the free loadout drop and actually gotten it without dying, right? So that's something that I think they'll change it because the outrage is too great. A lot of people are really upset about that. When they don't let us buy one early on, or at least as soon as we can, once we've got the funds from looting, they're limiting that fun factor for a lot of players, which really isn't good for the good players or all the casual players, and certainly isn't going to help when the new players come in and spend time leveling up guns and then can't buy a loadout for a long time. And the only saving grace to that point is that the new players don't really know the difference. Right? If they didn't play Verdansk, they won't really know what it was like to be able to buy a loadout right off the rip. You know, if you land in a good spot and get a bunch of cash, right? The other point to this one is that, and I don't consider this one that important really, because if you're a super sweat, if you're the top 1% of players, or you're a streamer, or you're a YouTuber, and you're just going for content, you're trying to make a great video, you're trying to drop your 20, your 30, your 40 bomb, whatever. Yeah, you can't buy a loadout right off the bat and start going on just slaying the entire map for your video, right? A lot harder to do that if you have to wait till the end of the first circle to buy your loadout. It's just not what they want. It's not ideal for them. I don't consider this as big of a deal as the first point about loadouts, but it's still valid for a lot of players. So, what are the solutions? In my opinion, pretty straightforward, and hopefully Raven's going to listen to some of this, and I'm not the only person saying it. Fix all the console glitches and the crash issues, especially on console. That's going to bring in the new players, right? And if that's what you want, if you want new players to get hooked on the game, start buying Vanguard to level up guns faster, start buying your blueprints, your skins, and all that stuff. Fix the game for all the potential new players on the consoles, PS4, PS5, Xbox. Fix the game, okay? That, in my opinion, should be one of the top priorities. Give console players that FOV slider they really want. Right? It's not going to be as huge of an impact on the new players because they don't know the difference. But there's a ton of players that I think are upset that they don't have that FOV slider yet, after being told 2 times over the past few years that they were going to get one. So just do that, and then I think you're going to see a lot of those console players in Warzone come back who have previously kind of dropped off and are thinking about dropping off again, even though the new map is here and it's fantastic. Okay? I think one of the best things that Raven could do for Warzone is to add a factor to SBM that takes into account weekly playtime, so that you basically never have players that play 4 hours a week in lobbies with players that play 40 hours a week. This would do a whole lot for the 99% of us who are more than willing to wait an extra minute to drop into a lobby if we know we're not going to be instantly destroyed in the first 5 minutes of a game by players that just should not be in our lobbies because they've got high KDs. You know, they put in so many hours a week. They're out of everybody's league, and they certainly don't belong in our lobbies. So that, I think, would go really far with me. It would go really far with all my friends. It would give us more of a chance. We'd be able to get more than just 1 win a month, or whatever it is, right? If you're in this boat, drop a like on the video, leave a comment, let me know what you think. If this is you, if this describes your challenges. Also, let players buy loadouts whenever they get enough money. Just revert that back to normal. Make loadouts more expensive if you have to, but just let people, if they earn the money, let them buy one. Last, but certainly not least, open up the normal BR mode so that we can use any of our guns, or just make it so it's a lot faster and easier to level up the Vanguard guns. And or you can just make all the ground loot Vanguard guns in that mode decent. Make them all like they'd be in orange crates or something, because they're going to be just about as good as loadout Vanguard guns anyway. that would go a long way to helping alleviate some of this issue of people just being really fed up with the way Vanguard is right now, because they'd be using good guns even though they can't buy their loadouts. So that might be the quickest, easiest first fix.